The Alabama Crimson Tide, it gets a little scary for a minute, but they end up taking down RMU by 9 points. They were down 65-64 at one point in the second half of this game. RMU kept it competitive the whole way through. Ultimately, though, Bama ends up winning the game. They do need to use Grant Nelson in this one. They were hoping just to rest him, but he comes in. It's a big win. They will play St. Mary's next. Connor, what did you see from the Tide in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I thought offensively, look, they were good. They were missing shots, but that's Bama, right? Like um they're not immune to missing 3-point shots, but they still shot 60% from the floor in this one. Uh, I think the bigger story about this game, not even that Robert Morris played well. Look, Cam Woods shot 3 of 18 from the floor. He struggled quite a bit. It's that Robert Morris out rebounded Alabama 39-37. They had 3 players with 8 or more rebounds in this game. Alabama had 1 player with more than 5, and that was Diabate with 10. Mark Sears had the second most rebounds on the team with 5. They gave up 16 offensive boards, which is good for a third of Robert Morris's misses. Um, and this was a lot closer than the 9 point spread at the end of the game. Like it was down to the wire. Fouls started racking up towards the end of this game. There were a couple of and ones from Mark Sears. He ended up getting to the line 13. He shot 13 free throws in this game, made 11 of them. And that's really the difference, right? They made one fewer three than Robert Morris. They only made one more field goal from the floor than Robert Morris. They made 8 more free throws on 11 more attempts, and then won by 9. Um, and then bench points, obviously, Robert Morris is not a deep team. Alabama had 41 of their 90 points come from their bench. Uh, it's one of those ones where like this is survive in advance at its finest, right? You run into a Robert Morris team that's really good, has a really good player in Woods. You force the rest of the team to beat you, and the rest of the team played well for Robert Morris. Uh, but if I'm like nitpicking Alabama on one specific thing, especially for their upcoming game, it's the rebounding. They have to be a much better rebounding team to beat the teams that they're likely to face in the next couple of rounds.
Yeah, I think something that is a little bit of note as well is that Robert Morris only shot 26% from three. This is a team that if they shot better, if they shot the NCAA college basketball average from three, they they would have been in it with even more of a chance. They might well have won, especially considering that Alabama got a bit of help from the referees. I think don't want to do that thing, but I'm going to mention it just this once, and it's a thing that happened. It's unfortunate that we're talking about it at all in a tournament game, but whatever. We'll move past it. Cam Woods as well, just not playing how you would expect him to as far as scoring goes. Like there were many opportunities for Robert Morris to win this game. Obviously, some of that is because Bama wasn't at full strength this whole game. Especially Jaron Stevenson injury was scary. The way that his wrist sort of curled up underneath him. I thought it would have been broken. I'm not sure what the official diagnosis is, but we obviously saw the tape on it after he went back to the locker room and came back out. So we'll obviously have to see how that affects him going throughout the tournament elsewhere. I think if there was one thing though that I really noticed from this Bama team was just uh, how not just aggressive, but how much the aggression from Mark Sears changed the way that the defense played around him. Obviously, we know he's an All-American caliber player and just how good he is, but it's interesting to see that in a situation where his opponent isn't another SEC team, another team that has the same physicality, size, athleticism, ability as him because the whole defense has to you know maneuver around Mark Sears. They have to adjust. They have to collapse on him when he looks to turn a corner. And that's what was able to make him get to the line so much. And it'll be a little bit more difficult to uh, for Bama, I think, and for Sears going against a St. Mary's team that obviously has Saxon and Wessels. But it's a thing that they can use to their advantage, especially with a guy like Grant Nelson able to get back on the court. Uh, Mark Sears is just that dynamic of a player.
Yeah, and I mean, give credit. Robert Morris is not in. It's not a not physical team, right? They're one of the better rebounding mid-major teams in the country. One of the better shot blocking mid-major teams in the country. Uh, their physicality on defense can cause a lot of like bad passes and stuff, travels, stuff like that, where like they're really forcing opposing guards to make plays through contact. But you're right. I think it's hard to read this game again because we don't know, how bad that wrist was after Jaron Stevenson checked back into the game. Uh, they didn't have Grant Nelson for most of the game, and once he came in to the game, like it looked like a completely different game from that point forward. Um, but and the 3-point thing, Alabama is one of the best 3-point percentage shooting 3-point defenses by percentage in the country. Um, I think they hold opponents to like 30% from three. So it's not like this was out too far out of the ordinary. It would have been like 9 of 27 instead of 7 of 27, which would have still been a win for Alabama. Um, and I'm not even going to blame the refs because Alabama was just taking it to the rack. Like, were there fouls that I thought were bad calls? Yes, but Alabama was creating those opportunities for the refs to have to make a decision. Um, and that's just the way they play, right? They stopped really shooting threes, and it became a game of get to the rack, get to the line, and they did that really well. So, uh, I think the way they closed out this game is really promising heading into the next game, especially because that seemed to be due to Grant Nelson coming back into the game and Mark Sears getting more aggressive going to the rim. But yeah, I mean, if I'm an Alabama fan, I don't like that it was a single digit win over a 15 seed, but everything else, it's like if we rebound better, we're not even talking about this game as being close.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to frame it. And I obviously will see going against St. Mary's with their Twin Tower lineups how they're able to adapt from that. We'll have the preview for that game up on the channel, so make sure you subscribe to Sleepers Media. We'll have previews and recaps up of every single NCAA tournament game. So please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a second of it.
It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.